I have a lot of explaining to do, and I'm not sure how to say this.
What just happened?
Alright. All jokes aside, let's get into the actual video. Hello everyone, my name is Aiden, and I'm not dead, and neither is the series. Yes, I know I've been gone for a while, about 2 months or so. Procrastination is killer, and not to mention I've been working 2 other jobs outside of making YouTube videos for fun. About a month ago, I'm looking over at my timeline over here, so don't mind me. About a month ago, my week was packed, and it completely threw off my work ethic. Because usually I upload. I'm started to try to upload a video about once a month. In that time frame, like that week, I wasn't expecting to get so overloaded. I mean, I sort of was, but then I thought, oh, I could manage to get a video, and no, I couldn't, because I was like the month, because I tried to like upload it every day, or on the same day of every month, but that wasn't gonna work. Beside that, about a month ago, I had my prom. I was starting to graduate from high school. I had my Midwest regional championships for my rowing team. Um, let's see here. We were able to get some of our boats qualified, and then I was able to go to nationals. About a week later, I graduated on the 24th of May, and then pretty much just a couple days after, I had to go straight to Sarasota, Florida, and race Cox in one event. But yeah, I've just been packed, so enough of my life story and why I haven't been uploading. In this episode, or in this video, I want to explain how Tiffin will work, because I haven't thoroughly explained the ins and outs of how I want the series to work, and I'm 5 episodes deep. Bad on my part. I get it. Don't mind me looking down so much scripts right here, so I'm just kind of like basing off of what's going on down here. So, this is the way Tiffin will work. Each episode will be set in a different year. Instead of going in order of years, jumping from one decade to another will make it easier for me to upload and build, because I have a ton of ideas, and most of them won't work right now because they take place in a different timeline. I know I should have explained this earlier. It completely slipped my mind anytime I wanted to make like an episode, because I know I wanted to talk about it in the expanding the road infrastructure episode, which is an hour long, and I never even got a chance to talk about it. So good on my part. But I wanted to set aside an entire document and just record it as soon as I was done making the script. And this is how it'll all work out. As you can see, I took off my headphones, but I don't need those. So this is kind of how the timeline will work out in the last five episodes. So the first episode was based in the 1830s when Tiffin was first founded. I'll make sure to do a little history lesson on Tiffin on another episode. In the 1840s, the growth of the town itself, and in 1845, in episode 3, was the big residential growth throughout the town, all the big houses being built. In episode 4, jumping forward about 100 years to 1952, the nuclear power plant. I honestly, if I wanted to make this into my own realm, into my own fictional town, which I sort of am, but I wanted to add a little bit of realism. I did some research. The first nuclear power plant wasn't the first nuclear like power generator wasn't built until 1950, built until 1951, and the plant itself, I couldn't even get. Hello, mid editing Aiden here. I had to research the whole power plant thing because I could not stand the fact that I was just jumbling over my words and I couldn't get it right. So I researched it on December 20th, 951. EBR1 or I. Here, I could just pull up the page here. I'll zoom in for you. Oh, that's the wrong. There we go. Became the first power plant to produce usable electricity through atomic fission. This is what it looked like. Looks pretty, maybe if I based mine off of this one, it would have made it a little bit more sense, but still, it's 100 years in the future from based where, like, Tiffin would be, so, we started in the 1940s, and I built a power plant in the 40s, but the first one wasn't built into the 50s, but I just wanted to clear that up. And honestly, I've been thinking about getting rid of it. I just don't see a point to it. Yes, it's nice to have. It's fun. It's a fun little quirk in the city or in the town, but it takes up so much space. I've had thoughts over the past couple of weeks when I've just been playing around in the town, and I'm like, man, I don't think a nuclear power plant fits here anymore. The Patterson's history, though, that will still stay. I'll just kind of mess around with it a little bit. So I had two ideas. Just to delete it and keep it and move it, like the move it mod. I can, like, keep different groups of assets and whatever into a folder, and I can just copy paste it somewhere else. So I can copy it and delete it and then paste it somewhere else, maybe later down the line in history when I actually do get back into the 50s. We can revert back to episode 4 and, like, oh, look, it was already built, but that was like 100 years ago, whatever. So that was my one idea. And then my other idea here was making, I'm basing more towards this one because I have a couple ideas for this. Making an episode or a skit on why the power plant is going down. Why and how. I don't want to get into, well, actually, I will because I'm not for certain about it just yet. But I kind of wanted to blow it up safely. Obviously, you don't want to blow up a nuclear power plant, but you get rid of all the nuclear waste, you set it aside, it goes into some, I don't know, the ocean. But the towers, like the big, I just blanked on the name, but the towers themselves, I can, like, somehow morph them into making it look like they're going down, and then leave some of it as a historical site. Something along those lines. I still have to figure out the realistic history behind it. But going away from the nuclear power plant, episode 5 was based in the 1960s. Oh, I just dropped my phone on the ground. The first big infrastructure highway built. This is staying, absolutely. It'll all come together in the end of the series. I know I'm jumping forward 120 years into the 1960s, but if you saw, that's Zoe down there. Don't mind her. I'm going to just be adding so much more to the route these next coming episodes. Like, there's so much I have planned, so we're gonna stick with it. Each little section is going to have its own little time frame to it, its own little time base. Like the highway, that's the 1960s. The town itself, the 1840s. And then there will be a couple other things later on that I'm going to explain here. But, so, leaving off the episode in the 1960s, what's next? Well, after not uploading for 2.5 months, I believe you guys deserve what the next couple episodes will be. Starting off, of course, with episode 6. The St. Joseph Cemetery, named after the founder, Joseph. I know when you add Saint in front of it, it's like, it's got to do something with religion, so I think I might kind of add a little bit of history, like Joseph was a saint at the church down on Main Street, something like that. But he's also buried there because the year that this will be taking place is 1862. They built the cemetery for Joseph in like 1861, 1862, just to kind of give more of a resting place instead of just the church. Because I explain a little bit on why I built the cemetery in the game sense, not in history sense, in the actual episode itself. So when that one comes out, you'll understand. Episode 7, West High School. The actual official high school for Tiffin. I named it West instead of Tiffin High School. Because, I mean, where I'm from, the first school here, the first high school, was named Westville High School. And then when the second one came around, they had to change it to South High School and then the North High School. I'm just sticking with not naming it Tiffin High School. I just wanted to name it West High School because I feel like too many things in Tiffin were named Tiffin, and I was just like, this is getting too out of hand. I needed to change something. So, with the elementary school being built in 1842, Tiffin's government knew that the coming years that they would also need to build a high school, and they weren't wrong. 1845 rolls around, and the influx of kids in the town jumps immensely. The construction crew got right on before things got out of hand and people started to leave. Because, there wasn't a high school. Luckily, though, things weren't as bad as they seemed when you look at the closer picture. Most of the kids were homeschooled. Most aren't even old enough to get into high school just yet. And the elementary school also counted as a K through 12 school. Even though it says in elementary school. And I'm going to kind of help out the history a little bit. And just since it's the only school in Tiffin, I'm just going to leave it as... This is the first one, and K through 12, yeah. So, but, I'm reading off the script, but they went with building an entirely new high school because they needed it anyway for the future. Construction finished on November 2nd, 1846. And all the high school students and teachers, 9 through 12, and graduates, if they wanted to go back for further education, were moved to the new school. And also, funny story, for a high school built in the 1940s, the parking lots are a bit unrealistic. So just keep that in mind when you watch the episode. I kind of didn't take that into account. Episode 9, the university. Unnamed as of right now. I want to try and think of more history to build it off of. But I already have the episode, or all the videos laid out. I just need to get the history down, and I want to make it an extensive history because, universities usually have a lot that go into it. But this is kind of what I have right now. Built in 1849, actually started construction back in 1845 when the high school was starting to, be constructed. But construction for the university stopped due to lack of funding, lack of students, and lack of brains because the government... and also me, forgot to build the high school before the university. You'll see in the actual, it's in the high school episode that before the video starts, I actually go off and say that I started to build the university, and the university looks nothing like it was, like what it is now. I completely changed it. I started to talk about how I started to build the university before I started to build a high school, so... high school, university, it's just easy way for the timeline to work out. The construction began again on January 11th, 1847. So, as you can see, going from the 1830s and the 1840s, and then jumping way forward to the 1950s, and then back to the 40s is a bit confusing. I understand, but I just want to make things clear and make it as most somewhat realistic history-wise as possible. I promise to specify the year in every episode moving forward. It may be scattered because of the different projects that I want to work on, but it'll all work out in the end. It'll make a ton of sense. I won't tell you what's planned for... I won't tell you what I have planned for the end, but I know I will remember it because I already have it jotted down. But now that the foggy haze of confusion has hopefully disappeared, and I've explained what's next to come, and I am in fact still alive and not letting this series die, we can all peacefully sleep, knowing that Aiden and Tiffin are coming back and coming back strong. Thank you all so much for watching this little filler episode. There's so much more to come from me in this series. I can't wait for you to see it. Again, thank you. Make sure you like the video. Subscribe if you enjoy the channel. Comment if there's any ideas you guys want to see from the series. Anything you got in particular. If you want me to build this, or you want me to build that, or get rid of this, and whatever ideas you got, tell me. Let me know. I'm always down to hear what my viewers think. Or just something sweet and heartfelt. Whatever you please. And last but not least, go back and rewatch the old episodes to refresh your memory on Tiffin. Until then, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.